Hi book friends, I'm Erin and this is Erin Go Read. Welcome to a weekend reading vlog. It is 7:11 on Friday evening. I am gonna be watching my baseball game here in a little bit, but as I often do, I will actually read during the commercial breaks, or if it's not that interesting of a game, if it's a blowout or something like that, I'll just kind of turn the volume down and sit here and read, and then just check in every now and then. So let me tell you about what I've got in the works right now. I've got one book in particular, or two books actually, that I would like to finish up this weekend and then maybe even start into some May reading, and I'll show you kind of my thoughts on my May TBR. So first of all, tomorrow night is book club and we are reading Heidi by Joanna Spyri. So the only copy I could get my hands on is this great illustrated classics edition, which I had this set when I was a kid. I don't think I ever read Heidi. I don't remember reading it. I definitely remember reading Robinson Crusoe. So unfortunately this is abridged, and so I finished this morning, and so I got the story at least from it, but no real sense of the writing. I can tell that it's aged down to be an abridged, these great illustrated classics versions. So great, these serve their purposes. There's, pictures in here, like huge writing. I read this in two sittings between yesterday and this morning. So yeah, it was a really nice story. I would have loved to have read the actual words, the true words to it. But that'll be a good time at book club tomorrow night. Then I'm listening to an audiobook, this Tenderland by William Kent Kruger, and I am really close to being done with this. I think I have maybe like 30 pages left or so of this. I just listened to about an hour of it during my workout, and so I'll probably just, I don't know if I'll read the physical book of it or if I'll just listen to the audiobook version of it as I'm doing things about the house over the weekend. So this is almost finished, but this is when does it start? So 1932. It's one summer in 1932 following four orphans, but mainly our main character, Odie. Yeah. There are four orphans, and Odie and his brother are white kids who are orphaned, but they get sent to this Indian school in Minnesota. What's it called? The Lincoln Indian Training School on the Gilead River in Minnesota, and they're treated horribly, and the Native American kids, they're all treated horribly. Abysmal things happen there, and so it's a bit of a look into that part of history and what was happening there. These kids being just ripped from their families, and with the thoughts of like retraining them to be civilized Americans or something like that. And they end up, through a series of events for a certain reason, they end up leaving, the four of them, and they're trying to make it to St. Louis to their aunt's house. And it's basically them following this river and encountering various sorts along the way, having both positive and negative interactions. And it has I almost feel like it's like a modern Huckleberry Finn, maybe. I could see this being used as like a high school text or something like that. Really, yeah, just really good. I feel like this is one that I would like to reread in the future in the physical form, because I just find it with audiobooks, I don't tend to appreciate the language in it like I do when I'm reading the physical book. Just as I was kind of looking through to figure out where I was catching some of the language. It's like, I don't remember, like, that looks really beautiful, and I don't remember hearing it as beautifully. I hear it more as I'm being told a story than I hear the language, if that makes sense. And then we have Elizabeth Srrout by Lucy Barton. No, other way around. Lucy Barton by Elizabeth Srrout. Elizabeth Srrout is the author of Olive Kitteridge, which I loved, and then Olive Again, which I loved as well. And so Lucy Barton is an adult. She's a mom, two little girls, and she has appendicitis. She's in the hospital for an appendectomy, and then she just continues to have a fever, and they don't know why. And so she's staying in the hospital. Husband is afraid of hospitals and is busy like working and taking care of their girls. And so she's kind of alone in the hospital, and then she wakes up and her mom is there. And her mom is quite an interesting character, and so far, so I'm about a third or so away through it, and it's just kind of their odd conversations, and not much of a real loving type of relationship here. They were very poor when she was a kid, and so we're getting some of her history. And then what she seems to love the most is her mom just telling her stories about these other people. So I don't know if the whole book is just going to be her mom telling her stories about these other people in her life that she knew. But I've heard from somebody else, a commenter, sorry, I can't remember who it was, who said that she loved this. She read this. It was her first Elizabeth Srrout, and then it made her wanted to read everything that Elizabeth Srrout had written. I'm having a hard time saying that. If you can't tell, my allergies are really bad right now. I'm actually feeling way better than I have been. I've only sneezed like 5 times today, which yesterday morning I was sneezing like 5 times in a row. So anyway, that is that. And so tonight I'll be working on Lucy Barton. My name is Lucy Barton. There we go. Good morning. It's about 6:15 on Saturday morning. I have to leave probably 7:15 to go meet my friend for a run. So I'm reading, and I'm about halfway through of Lucy Barton now. My name is Lucy Barton, and I just came across a little passage. It's completely out of context, but there's like no spoilers. Like really, it would be hard to spoil this book because really it's just a bunch. It's like her and her mom gossiping, talking about whatever's going on, just interesting insights into their relationship and Lucy's whole life, really, and perspective on life. And so there's this bit that says, I've said before, it interests me how we find ways to feel superior to one another group of people. It happens everywhere and all the time. Whatever we call it, I think it's the lowest part of who we are, this need to find someone else to put down. So throughout the book, she's kind of coming across these little revelations as I was going to say, as the story goes on. There's not much of a story, although I guess we're just being told the story of this hospitalization in her time with her mom. And they're kind of bonding through just being near each other. My dog needs to go outside. One of the things that keeps coming up in the book is that Lucy loves her doctor. You know, she's in the hospital. She's got this infection, this fever that won't go away. They can't figure out. And she's away from her little girls and her husband. And this doctor is just so kind. And she just loves him for it. Like, not in a romantic way. I just teared up reading this last little bit about this short little interaction between the doctor and her. Because I know what that's like to be so kind of vulnerable in that position, not as the patient, but as the wife of the patient, seeing that interaction between a doctor and whether it was a doctor and my late husband or a doctor and me, just that extra kindness, that smile, that touch on the arm, that physical touch was a big thing, whether it was a touch to Sam, a pat on the leg, a handshake, whatever it was, or to me, when you're in such a vulnerable position, it goes so far. And so this relationship that she has with this doctor, I think kind of speaks to this yearning that Lucy has to be loved and to be cared for and to know that everything's going to be okay. And especially because she didn't have that as a kid. Run. We did 4 miles along the Johnny Cash Trail with my friend Elise, and saw some wild turkeys, heard some peacocks. We were actually right by the zoo is right here, and then the library is right here, and I am stopping myself from going in the library. It might actually not even be open yet. It's not quite 9 yet. But I have so many books that I own that I need to read that I need to not get library books. But anyway, yeah, it was just a lovely morning. So I'm gonna go home, have some more coffee. Not because I need it, but just because I like to drink coffee. And I'll eat eventually, and then go to the gym at some point. Definitely need to clean my house, and between my dad and I, the backyard needs to get mowed because we're actually doing Easter tomorrow. So my sister's family and I were both sick on Easter, and so I was horizontal and watched ER all day on Easter Day. And so we're having it tomorrow, and I mowed the lawn the Friday before Easter, and it hasn't been mowed since, so it's been 2 weeks of growth. So hopefully my dad will take care of that with my allergies being what they are. Otherwise I might be mowing with a mask on. Anyway, so that's really all the plans are until book club tonight. So I'm having this very meta experience because this book is told as if Lucy Barton is telling basically a memoir. She's writing this book about this time in the hospital with her mom. And she addresses actually the writing of the book. And in my memoir, I do the same thing. I address the writing of the book. And it's making me forget that I'm reading a fictional story, because it's like, I don't know if I've ever encountered that, a fictional version of, the fictional character writing a memoir, and that's the story that you're reading. So, I don't know, it's just kind of an interesting thought. There was this funny little bit that I wanted to read. These are just another example of the types of thoughts that she comes up with. My dog needs some love. Hi, buddy. Women and a few men sit in the waiting room for the doctor who will make them look not old or worried or like their mother. A few years ago, I went there to not look like my mother. The doctor said that almost everyone came in the first time, and they said they looked like their mother and didn't want to. It's my cheeks that are falling that will become jowls. It's more like my dad and his sister and my grandma that I'm more concerned about for myself. So I just finished Lucy Barton, and my name is, I keep calling it just Lucy Barton. My name is Lucy Barton, and I loved it. It's so simple, yet it's super deep. It's amazing how Elizabeth Srrout, and she does this in Olive Kitteridge too, although Olive is a much more colorful character than Lucy Barton is. But it's amazing how simply she's able to really pinpoint and like dig deep into these universal truths about humanity, and fusing, in this case, the character of Lucy Barton and her need for safety and comfort and love, and the way that she was raised, the poverty and abuse and neglect, and then as an adult, gaslighting, and the way that these things affect her, and therefore the things that really touch her and move her, like the relationship with this doctor that she has. And even though you could have a completely different background than Lucy Barton, you can still feel that universal truth. I just thought it was incredible, and I'm super impressed with Elizabeth Srrout. That's now the third book I've read of hers. So I read Olive Kitteridge, which I'd first seen HBO? They did the adaptation, I think. I had first seen, not even the whole thing, just parts of it. And then I read the book, because when I judged the BookTube Prize, Olive Again, which is the sequel to Olive Kitteridge, was nominated, and so I read Olive Kitteridge first. Love both of those. There's another, what is it called? Anything is Possible is the follow-up to My Name is Lucy Barton, and then her most recent book, Oh William, came out in 2021 or early 2022, and I assume that has to do with Lucy's husband, William. So I would, so love to get my hands on anything as possible, and then probably wait until the William comes out in paperback before I get that. But I think that Elizabeth Srrout is just an author that really, that I really get, or her writing really gets me, perhaps. Oh, this person just made a really stupid turn and just about got themselves T-boned. That's beautiful. Fortunately, everybody's safe. So I'm heading over to the gym, have myself some nice food, and finish the book. So I'm nice and refueled for workout number 2. I don't normally do 2 workouts in a day. Just kind of get steps and do my normal workouts. But today was kind of the exception. So time for leg day. So let's go get it. All right, I'm just gonna put my coaching hat here on for a second. So just finished my workout. It was leg day. I lift 5 days a week, 3 lower body, 2 upper body. And so that was my last workout of the week. Tomorrow is an off day. I took Wednesday, I think, was an off day. And it was hard. I'm at the end of an aggressive cut, meaning my calories have been cut for a couple months, and the last 4 weeks they've been even more aggressively cut, and I am feeling it. There's a physical and a mental toll that takes. So a fat loss phase should never be more than 8 to 12 weeks at the very longest, unless you are like a high level competitor and you are under the careful watch of a coach who really knows what they're doing. Anyway, aside from that, I just wanted to quit. And I had, what did I have? I think I had 6 or 7 total exercises, high volume. So I was doing 3 or 4 sets of 15 reps on everything, which I hate. I hate counting to 15. I don't want to do that many reps. And I had the last 3 exercises to go, so I had 9 sets of 15 left. I just so wanted to throw in the towel and not do it. But I had to give myself a pep talk. I had to look at, why do I actually want to quit? Is there anything actually wrong with me right now? I'm not malnourished. I'm not dehydrated. I'm not overheating. I'm not physically in jeopardizing myself in any way. I just want to quit. This is hard. And then it's more that the thought of having to do those 9 more sets just seemed so daunting to me in that moment. But I knew, because I've done this before, whether it's weight training or whether it's running or cycling or whatever it is, I know that as soon as I'm done, I'm gonna feel amazing. Not only because I accomplished what I accomplished, but because once the physical toll, that's like how I know that nothing is actually wrong, is that when I'm done, I know I'm going to feel fine. And I can specifically remember this time in Ireland. So almost 6 years ago, my friends and I went on this amazing running adventure trip through Ireland. And the very last day, I was with my friend Kelly, and it was the first time she ever did 13 miles that day. She and I were with each other the whole day. It was just it was run walk, because we're literally like climbing mountains here. So, and it starts just straight uphill up this beautiful, grassy, waterlogged mountain overlooking this loch, and we were in that coastal area. Once we got to the top of this, we're gonna have this amazing view of this valley, like this village, and then the ocean. And it was gorgeous, but it was so hard. And my calves in particular, were killing me. Glutes, legs, everything were just dying. And it just seemed like the top of this mountain would never come. And I was kind of in the coach position here, because this was a big deal for Kelly. I had done much more endurance related stuff than she had. And so I was kind of coaching her along. It was hard. I was having to take rest breaks myself, but I keep kind of, pushing her, encouraging her. And I kept telling her, Kelly, when we get to the top of this, we're going to feel amazing. It sucks so hard right now. When we get to the top, the view is going to be incredible, and our legs are going to feel fine. And so we finally make it to the top, and there's kind of like this
wide trail that kind of winds around the mountain that we end up on. And we just kind of get up there, and to one side we have this lock that we'd been seeing that whole time, and then looking down at this mountain that we just climbed from where we started, and now we can see that village and the ocean beyond. And we're just standing there, just taking in the glory of what's in front of us. And then I asked her, "How do your legs feel?" "Fine." And I feel fine right now. So just a little coach motivation moment there. The next time you're doing a workout, you're doing something that you feel like you start to get those I don't wannas, I want to quit. Remember, what's it going to feel like when you're done? And I promise you, unless you're actually injured or sick, you're going to feel amazing when you're done. Day, and I think I'm gonna wrap up at least the talking portion of the vlog here and just give an update on what I've been doing. My voice isn't feeling awesome, and so anything from the rest of this will just be maybe a little bit of footage from our day. We're having Easter 2 weeks late today because we were all sick on actual Easter Day, so I need to go clean up this back patio here in a little bit, but finished and absolutely loved My Name is Lucy Barton. Can't wait to read more Elizabeth Srrout. Earlier on a walk, I finished this Tenderland by William Kent Kruger. This was fantastic. I think it was on the back of the book, someone said, but I agree. I can see this as a future classic. I think I mentioned before that I could see this as a great book to teach in high school. Maybe like instead of Huckleberry Finn. And in the author's note, he commented that the format of their journey he kind of took as an updated ode to Huckleberry Finn, as far as like the four orphans journeying down the river. And then I started last night Ordinary Girls by Jakira Diaz. This is a memoir about a Puerto Rican woman struggling with poverty. She struggled with her sexuality, and she comes from Puerto Rico, ends up moving to Miami, I believe. And I'm not, how far am I? I'm like 50 pages in? Yeah, I'm on page 55. I'm enjoying the writing. I'm not quite sure about the format of it as far as the timeline. Every now and then I get a little bit, I haven't been super clear sometimes about when we're talking about, although I am enjoying the overall writing, and I really don't know what is the point yet of this book, but I'm only 55 pages in. And then I started last night and read a bit this morning too, East of Eden by John Steinbeck. And I didn't realize this, but this is kind of an updated take on Cain and Abel. And so we're gonna have two different families that are being followed, and the two very different paths that these families go on. So, love to know, have you read any of these books, or are you maybe interested in any of these books? Are you a big Steinbeck fan? What's your favorite Steinbeck? So far for me, it's Cannery Row, but I've only read Of Mice and Men and Cannery Row, so one of two. Thank you for watching. See you around the tubes. prematurely and he found a real egg, a hard-boiled egg. So he's out on the hunt for the last real egg. We'll see, be the one to find it.